Every day I'm shot calling. I'm a spray champagne, make it rain, just to let you know.
Yo, what's up everybody? It's your boys Casey and Travis here, and this week we're going to get right into it.
Alright guys, so this week we don't have any top takes. We're going to be doing the MLB preseason review, and also going to be doing our power rankings for all 30 teams.
So in the preseason, the Red Sox and the Yankees had a lot to show this time around, as well as the Brewers. Houston finished second in the Grapefruit League, only one game behind the Red Sox, who ended up Grapefruit League champions. The Brewers also showed everyone that they have depth in their rotation, not just in their rotation, but in their lineup, finishing 19-12 and winning their league respectfully.
So the Red Sox finished with the best overall record, posting a 22-9 record in the preseason. They still seem to be the underdogs of the Yankees, which may be surprising to some people, but we'll see what happens.
It's true that they are the underdogs, but there's a lot to look at this season. There's a lot of factors that come into play with both the Yankees and the Red Sox in the AL East. But now we're going to start with our power rankings for the beginning of the season. This is what we think their overall record will be, where they place as of right now on a scale of 1 to 30. At number 1, we do have the Houston Astros, defending champs, who again showed a lot of the same stuff in spring training. They still have a lot of power in their bat. They still have a lot of great pitchers, including Dallas, yes, they did lose a couple, but their bullpen is really great. They didn't lose any bats. I'm looking for them to finish 99-63 this season, winning their division again.
So guys, at second we have the LA Dodgers, finishing 4 games back at 95-67.
Yeah, there's not really much to say there. They're a great team. They're runners-up last year. I think they can do something again this year. I think they have a good playoff push again this year. But Cleveland holds on to number 3 this year at 95-67. Also, following the Yankees will be number 4, who will finish the season with a 92-70 overall record. We're looking to make a push for a 28th title. 90, could you imagine? Pending these two teams stay healthy and their bats come to life and they stay alive, these teams will be one of the two biggest threats in the AL right now, including the Yankees, who I believe are starting 3 or 4 players on the 10-day DL. Yes, granted it's only 10 days, but it's still going to be a little rough at the beginning of the season trying to get those bugs off.
Right. And guys, at number 5 we have the Washington Nationals. High hopes for them this year, finishing 90-72. Oh, number 1. Perfect. Anyways, winning their division, if this team can keep Murphy's knee problems together, they might be able to keep Bryce Harper at the end of the year. So
they have to make a playoff run. They have to get past the first playoff series. They have to win a playoff series this year. If they don't win a playoff series, which even that, Bryce Harper's probably going to leave. Bryce Harper's the best player on that team, and if he leaves, it's going to be a rough couple years trying to get them back together. But coming in at number 6, we do have the Red Sox finishing with an overall record of 93-69, just edging out the Yankees in the final weekend again this year. Key factors to this team to succeed are obviously to stay healthy, and JD Martinez keeping his bat going. If he falls apart and he comes into this team and he falls apart, it's going to be rough. They also need to get the other hot bats going in the lineup. Xander does have power. He needs to start showing it. JBJ needs to get out of his streaky playing. He said he's not going to be the streaky player he is anymore. Hanley Ramirez lost a lot of weight. If these guys can all perform to what they say they're going to do, this team will be a hard team to beat.
Right. So at number 7 we have the Cubs, finishing the season off at 94-68, winning their division. With their rotation and bullpen, they could possibly be one of the best pitching staffs in the league.
Very true.
However, many of their relievers could face tough losses in late innings and cause Morrow to fail.
Picking up Yu Darvish this year is really big for them. I'm really excited to see what he's going to do for the Cubs, because just a year prior to this free agency, they were not on his list. He refused to go to the Cubs. Right. He was not going to go to the Cubs. And now all of a sudden, here he is on the Cubs. I hope he performs well. I hope he overperforms with them.
It'll be good for him.
Coming in at number 8, we do have the Brewers. They will be finishing 89-73, close to a playoff spot this year. if they show what they showed in spring training, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. With the addition of Christian Yelich and Lorenzo Cain, who are not only great contact and great speed hitters, they also do show power in the lineup. And if all these players in this lineup, it could be a deadly combo with just these two at, say, 2 and 3 or 3 and 4, and what already has a great power in their lineup with Eric Thames and so on. I think they could be a force in this league this year, and they could be a danger to what the Nationals want to do.
So, guys, at number 9, we have the Cardinals coming in with a record of 87 and 85, coming second in the division. This team needs to stay on Ozana's current tear. If he fails to do so, they will look back at basically 2017, and he will likely find himself benched due to the Cards' bomb outfield.
Yeah, the Cardinals do have a really good outfield. They had a really great outfield in 2017. Ozuna was great last year, don't get me wrong. He was great prior to that. However, Ozuna wasn't as good as what the Cardinals have already in the outfield. The Cardinals outfield is phenomenal, and if he doesn't perform to what he did last year, he's going to fall below the threshold of what they require in the outfield. And number 10 this week, or I should say this year, will be the LA Angels, finishing 85 and 77, also getting into their deepest playoff spot and second place run yet. Worst case for this team would be that Trout is really great, as always. There's no other doubt in my mind is that. But it's everybody else falling short. Ohtani fell short in spring training of his expectations. There's a lot of skepticism on what he's going to do in actual games. However, possibly showing a two-way player can't work even if you do run a 6-man rotation, which the LA Angels had announced they are doing. I'm not sure if Ohtani can do a two-way this year, but I think Ohtani is going to come out as one or the other. If he can do two-way, that's great, but I think he's either going to come out a hitter or come out a pitcher. You have to put your focus towards one. You can't do both in this league anymore. It's not possible. There's too much expected from you, especially with starting pitchers. Innings pitched falling over the past 5 years. Since 2011, I believe it's went down by an inning and a half. Don't quote me on that. I know it's dropped in innings pitched per game by starting pitchers. But yes, that helps him in the fact, but I don't think it will in the long run. I think in this day and age, he can't be a two-way player. Right. He needs to stay relevant. He needs to go with one or two.
All right, guys, so that wraps it up for the top 10. From here on out, we're going to go by fives each time. So I'm going to say 11 through 15. He's going to go through 16 to 20, etc. So for number 11, we have the Twins, followed by the Rockies, Diamondbacks, Mariners, and then the Mets.
Number 16 through 20 goes the Giants, then the Orioles, then we have the Blue Jays, Phillies, and Rangers respectively.
For 21 through 25, it holds up true to the Pirates, Royals, we have Oakland, the Reds, and then the Rays, which is a tough spot for all of these teams to get to.
Yeah, it really is. That 21 through 25 and then the last 26 through 30 is really tough because I don't want to say all these teams are bad, but all these teams aren't that great. Especially 21 through 25. For them to get to 21 through 25, that's high expectations from our point of view because Cincinnati's still on a really tough rebuild. The Pirates just lost 2 great players. Starling Marte is just coming off of his PED suspension. So I think it's going to be really tough for the Pirates to get 21, for the Royals to get 22. The Royals losing 2 key players and only getting Moose back. I think it shows a lot of faith in these teams for us to say 21 to 25, and even for us to say what's coming in 26 through 30, which we have the Braves, which would be tough, Padres, which we're giving them a low number this year. However, they did do decently well in spring training. They did finish, I believe it was 15 and something. But there's a lot of faith in these teams having Padres this low, saying they're going to underperform. Then the White Sox, Marlins, 29th, and Detroit finalizing our power rankings this year. Detroit falling below Marlins just because I think the Marlins are just going to show up at the end of the season. I think the Marlins are going to finally get their stuff together come the trade deadline, get some players, and work it out. And I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs, no, by any means, but I think they're actually going to show up in this season. Right. And I honestly can't wait.
Right. So, out of the 30 teams, what team do you think has the best odds of winning the World Series this coming season?
Right now, who I think the best odds are the Astros. Not just because they're the defending champions, but because they're the defending champions and they have the same lineup, the same rotation, the same relievers, and they showed exactly what they did last year in spring training. Yes, they had different players up and down from the minors, just like every other team. They showed that they're still doing what they did.
Right.
Yes, every player goes through slumps. Every player goes through good times. But I think if they can keep what they were doing, they're gonna win the World Series again. If they did what they did, they're gonna perform well.
Right.
What about you?
I think personally, the Chicago Cubs have a decent chance.
That'd be crazy.
According to ESPN, they have a 7-1 odd to win the World Series, which is
That's very good.
that's really well.
one of the
So
top.
I'm gonna have to go with the Chicago Cubs.
I would say yes, but I would also say no because they had just recently won for the first time in 108 years. But
Right.
I don't know. It's tough because they're a really good team.
Right. So what team do you hope to see overperform in these initial power rankings?
What team I hope to see overperform? I really do have two. I would say the Twins, just because I don't know. The Twins have always held a spot in my heart. The Rockies have always held the spot in my heart. But I really do hope the Twins get past, because finally being a playoff team really makes me hope that they're going to push farther. They're going to get a little bit farther. And I can't wait to see what they do this year. I really hope they hold up to what they did last year.
Right.
What about you?
A team that I want to see overperform would be the Mets. Right now they're ranked at 15th. I think if they have really good pitching, if they can increase their pitching, they would.
If their pitching
fine.
can stay healthy, they do have a good pitching. They do have I don't want to say good. They have a decent pitching staff.
Stay healthy.
But they run into trouble. They get injuries.
Right.
I just really hope. I do hope the Mets do something this year. From what they did from that World Series run to being an awful team, I really hope they get their shit together.
Right.
I do hope they finally figure out what the problem is with their health.
It'd be good. Definitely.
So guys, we will be doing updated power rankings once a month. However, what we'll do is we won't be doing the records, obviously. We'll just be doing a quick 1 through 30 as part of a show. It won't be anything difficult because it's going to be getting to the end of all the other seasons, such as NBA is almost a playoff, NHL is almost a playoff. Next week, we are probably going to do an NHL and NBA playoff predictions once the playoff table is set. So I just figured I'd let you guys know what you can look forward to. But that concludes this week's episode. Remember to give us a like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram and like us on Facebook.
And remember, guys, one phrase:
6 words.
been ballin',
Still ballin',
Stay
stay ballin'.
Tell her hey to get